Welcome. This is the first
Native Business Podcast.
And my name is Gary Davis, and this is
Carmen Davis.
And we are so happy
Absolutely
to have you join us here on the inaugural first ever Native Business Podcast. And of course, this is part of Native Business, the Native Business Magazine, Native Business Summit, and now the Native Business Podcast. And as we go through this 30 minutes, roughly, we're going to be talking about a lot of things, but as the introductory podcast, we definitely want to sort of go over what to expect and what will be ahead of us over a series of weekly, and if we get really excited, maybe bi-weekly.
Yeah?
Well, not bi-weekly. Would it be bi-weekly? It would be every few days.
Well, bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly would be occurring every 2 weeks.
Or twice a week.
Okay. How about we just stick with 2 times a week if we feel real inclined?
Ambitious?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we are again welcoming you no matter where you join, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you're joining us. We thank you so much. And we look forward to having you subscribe. So please go ahead and make sure that you do that right now.
Absolutely.
Wherever that you are. We probably should give a little bit of background on myself and yourself.
Sure.
And how about ladies first?
Okay. So my name is Carmen Davis. I am a member of the Makah Nation from Nia Bay, Washington. I'm also Yakima and Chippewa Cree. And we are a husband and wife team where we have ran our companies for the past 20 plus years, you longer than I, but as husband and wife, going on 21 years, right? Yeah.
You know, I'm not counting anymore. I'm just every day is another day that I'm just lucky to have you as my partner. So we'll just leave it at that. Thank you. But you are the executive editor,
yes,
and also co-publisher of Native Business Magazine.
Yes.
My name is Gary Davis. I am a member of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. I think we don't even say that anymore. We just say the Cherokee Nation. I am also a publisher of this Native Business Magazine, and have for many, many years been involved in Indian country in various different capacities, entertainment, in music as a Native American rap artist, owned a record label called Red Vinyl Records, put out dozens of records over the year, have won a lot of different awards for my music, and also an actor, several films, most notably Indian in the Cupboard, which is a classic. Well, I mean, maybe it's a little arrogant for me to say it's classic, but people have told me that it is a classic. By all means, you can check that film and all my other films out on Netflix now these days, and have served in leadership positions from everything from the National Center for American Indian Enterprise Development, currently at the Native American Financial Services Association, and on different boards and different organizations and all that good stuff, but also as the, again, publisher and co-publisher with you of Native Business Magazine, which is the only Native-owned and operated business publication in Indian country that is distributed 9 times a year.
Nationally
all throughout Indian country.
Internationally.
That's right. People don't know. We have 11,300 issues of the publication go out every time it's printed.
And it's growing as well.
Growing. Daily.
Yes.
Daily.
And subscription for the print is actually free.
And at nativebusinessmag.com,
you can sign up.
Sign up and get it delivered to your home, your business, wherever you choose. Literally right now, by just navigating to nativebusinessmag.com and going to the subscribe button. You can also get the publication if you really want it right this second. You can get the latest issue as well as an annual subscription by clicking to subscribe to the digital for a very small nominal. Very small. Should I reiterate? It's so small. It's, I think, what they call stupid cheap. It is absolutely stupid cheap for what you get. Each issue is about 52 pages. and sometimes they're larger. And we cover everything in the year from finance to entrepreneurship to energy to gaming to we have an issue that focuses on the top 50 entrepreneurs.
Yeah, which was last month.
It was the May issue. And here in June, it is natural resources and agriculture. Yes, thank you.
And tourism.
And tourism, that's right. We can't forget about good old tourism. So that's where you can get all that good stuff as well. Every single day, you can find the latest news across Indian country. So don't forget to also subscribe to the email newsletter, which will, if you don't get a chance to subscribe to that, I'm getting hand signals right now from first base. My first base coach is giving me hand signals. Feel free to step right in and correct me if I'm saying something that's not right.
No.
But you can sign up to the email newsletter. I think I don't know. Now I'm doubting myself, and this is not correct.
No.
Can you not sign up for the newsletter?
You're good. It usually goes out like every Friday, correct?
Yes, Friday. Every Friday it goes out.
Yes.
Were you saying that we still need to do it on a Friday?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Please put that on my to-do list. So anyway, that's the general makeup. Online, you're going to find 24 different business sectors that we cover, 16 different sections, the latest news and information, and be sure to tune in to that whenever you get the chance to navigate over there. And again, if you can't, just sign up very easily for the email newsletter that comes out every Friday. And you'll get all the briefings of the latest and greatest and hottest news that's coming out in business in Indian country.
And also week. Just kind of going back to the background of Native business and why we started Native business.
Well, let's get into that. Let's just preface that first before we jump into leaving the website.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're moving into why Native business was started. And again, this whole episode of this podcast is to really give you the basis of what Native business is about. Because as we go on, we're going to be talking to CEOs, we're going to be talking to tribal leaders, we're going to be talking to business people, entrepreneurs, folks that you can learn from, that you can gather the information that they have learned, oftentimes the hard way, by just getting out there, rolling your sleeves up and getting into it as entrepreneurs, tribal leaders, to gain their perspectives, what they've got going on, and to really just help better business and to help pre-entrepreneurs or startups or students who want to learn more about business and hear it sort of from the folks that are out there doing it. So with all of that, let's start at square one, which would be, why did we start Native business? And to that, I'm going to turn it over to Carmen Davis.
Oh, it was me? Okay.
Yes, that's you. There's nobody else here.
Well, I guess when we were talking about kind of our backgrounds and where ultimately what makes this very unique is that you have 20 plus years, as do I, of traveling Indian country. And that has been a privilege to be able to do so. And it kind of gives us a unique vantage point because we've been in the communities and witnessed some of these
economic development,
great stories that we're sharing.
Have as friends entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Have lunches, conversations with people.
Absolutely. So it's just these 20 plus years of knowing, this community, why don't more people know what all the great things they're doing? And, this community just started this business and they would, learn so much if they only knew what this other tribe was doing. So it's really kind of taking all of that information or those stories
and getting it out of a silo or a bucket.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. No, and that's what we're doing with the magazine. And that is exactly what we're doing with the website, the information, the news that happens there every day. And again, that's what we're also now doing with the podcast. And as we're going along, the next component in sort of this very multimedia focused effort will be video. on the YouTube
Yes,
channel. So
which I'm
please go
excited.
subscribe to the YouTube channel, because there will absolutely be more as the weeks and months go on in the way of video, to do exactly the same thing, to get the
Yes.
information out of buckets, to help bring more people together, to help share knowledge, and help people do better. And, I guess really, why is that important?
I think it's important because as entrepreneurs ourselves, we've always looked, to people that have inspired us, and what tribes have done, and what different entrepreneurs across Indian country have done as well. And so it's something that we've always looked. What inspires us as entrepreneurs.
And oftentimes that has been not an internal look.
Yes.
I mean, let's just be honest. That's looking at Russell Simmons or Jay-Z or Bill Gates or, other well-known entrepreneurs that have started businesses, and you look no further than Steve Jobs, or people that have really done it, and Gary V.
Right.
Other people that sort of are these serial entrepreneurs, and we have had to look outside of that because there's been no ongoing daily, weekly sort of way to get inspired or to listen or see a source or a place where you could go find that information. And I probably, just stepping back for 1 second, why is this important and why are we doing it? Ultimately, I think it's to help not just better economic development in Indian country on sort of a tribal enterprise level. It's to help grow an entrepreneurial base and to help create true economy. Because if we're really trying to get our communities better and to help people grow, there needs to be Native-owned businesses in those communities to be able to buy, source, hire, all of those things that help create a thriving economy when you can keep that dollar that's generated there at least 7 times in the community. And we'd be very hard pressed to find anywhere in Indian country where you could say a dollar bill stays in the community and changes hands 7 times before it leaves. Right. And I think that's what the whole goal is. And of course, you or I can't alone ever do that. No. It's going to take a groundswelling of people realizing that it's possible. Ultimately, why? For people to become self-sufficient.
Yes.
For people to not be dependent. For people to not have their whole wherewithal or their whole existence financially be dependent upon somebody else or something else.
Absolutely.
And I think that then applies all the way from the tribal level all the way down to the individual in the community to try to find that way to break the dependency.
Yes.
And I'm not saying by any means that we, negate the trust responsibility of the federal government, or that we say that we don't have them show up and do every single bit of what they've been entrusted to do via treaty obligations to our tribes. But I am saying that we should be looking to every single thing we can do independent of those obligations, our own self, to be visionary, to be insightful, and to be moving the ball forward, to reinvest into other economic development, to reinvest into our own people, and for our own people to invest in themselves.
Right.
I mean, going all the way back to day one, this started, when I very first started, I couldn't get a bank loan. I couldn't get anybody to loan me any money. So I thought, if this is going to happen, I'm going to need to go get a job. And when one job and working 40, 50, 60 hours a week wasn't enough, I went and got another job.
Right.
And I self-financed my whole movement because I knew the person that I could depend on, the person I could count on, was me.
Yep.
And so I think that, really, that's not some mystery secret sauce. That is just literally get a vision, get an idea, research it, make sure that you know what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and then go out there and roll your sleeves up and make it happen. And I think one of the things that, I've always really related to is you can either make an excuse,
or you can make a way.
Yeah. And I think we've always been focused on making a way, because anybody can make an excuse.
Right.
So yeah, I would absolutely say that all the things that you mentioned about all the conversations that we've had, the things that we've seen, just the gamut, right? Because not everybody has a amazing multi-million-dollar casino.
Yeah, no,
nor are they right next to a major highway or in a major metropolitan area, and just have population centers, to really draw in and kind of go about economic development that way. Or as entrepreneurs, the proximity to opportunity that that you would normally love or hope to have. We have folks that are literally, and often some cases, hours and hours and hours away from the next major metropolitan area. And, very much so, don't have an economic base around them. So how do we look to try to help everyone and bring folks, whether it's in the news or whether it's in our magazine or whether it's on this podcast or in our videos, how do we help everybody try to do better?
Right.
And I think that's really the goal of this, is to really try to bring enough information, enough points of view, enough interview subjects
absolutely,
to the table so that somebody can glean some information from every conversation that's had to help them and to grow from them and to transfer the knowledge.
Absolutely. And it's also really important to kind of just have those hard conversations or tough questions of, how did you get started? Or, if you are in the middle of nowhere and you're in a remote community, what are the opportunities for you, whether it's an entrepreneur or just, whatever it is, it's important to talk about those things and to share, and also to talk about business, right? And what it means to be self-sufficient, because there's all different kinds of ideas and thoughts out there. And, a lot of times, people are, oh, well, if you make money, if you do well for yourself, well, you're just a sellout. And it's like, well, I'm just trying to take care of our family.
Well, and so that's a narrative that has to be undone, because you're not a sellout if you can find a way to feed yourself. You're not a sellout if you can find a way to take care of yourself. Because what I think it's a long held understanding that if you can't take care of yourself, what good can you do for somebody else? How can you take care of somebody else? How can you do anything for somebody else if you can't do for yourself, if you can't take care of yourself?
Right. So that it's just, there's so many, I think, from A to Z, the goal and just kind of the why for Native business
is to help other folks.
Yes.
It's really that, I think not that we know it all.
No, not at all.
But again, that is why we are bringing other people into the conversation. This may be the only time that we ever do a podcast that it doesn't include somebody else. The goal will be always to have at least one guest that we have these questions. And you mentioned something really important, because no one person's story is the same. You can talk to 15 entrepreneurs and ask them how they started, and that most likely will be some similarities, but it'll be 15 different ways, 15 different viewpoints, vantage points of how they got started. And, this whole idea, to your point about the crabs in the bucket, basically that's what we're talking about here, is that there's all these folks that, no matter what you do, somebody is going to have some sort of negative take on anything. Somebody that, is not being wrapped up in negativity or trying to better themselves or lift themselves up out of a negative situation. Somebody's always going to talk about that. So what can we do to help them? What can we help do? What can we help in our own way to break that down and do more in the way of recrafting the narrative? Because you're not a sellout if you take care of yourself and if you're able to take care of your family.
If you're able to break cycles.
That's right.
If you're able to break away from the dependency.
Those folks should be applauded.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think lifted up. We definitely think that there's not enough of that. And we want to see more of that. When one person does better, we all do better. Well, there you go. Hey. We didn't even rehearse that. So yeah, that's the intention. I think that, as we go forward and we're really looking at some of the great things that we want to do on the podcast, you can look no further than the amazing folks that we're including in our monthly issues. Not even monthly, 9 times a year. So I should say that, not monthly, 9 times a year. But when you get a print publication and you look in there and you see these great stories, we want to help bring those stories out of the magazine and out of print and into real life and let you listen to some of the great people that are featured some of the great Native entrepreneurs, tribal leaders, enterprises that are being led by amazing executives, and have them communicate and talk in ways that you can really feel what they're doing and what they're saying by their just being able to express themselves via their own words in a real-time audio format. It's different. I think the same could be said for the video. We just came back here in March. We went to the Netherlands and followed the Mandan Hidatsa and Arikara Nation and its chairman, Mr. Mark Fox, over to the Netherlands, and Native Business was very fortunate to go along and document and help to facilitate the whole trip, the delegation that ultimately met with several different greenhouses, as they called them in the Netherlands, glass houses. Hey, we're doing good on the doubling there of our statements. And also precision farms that utilize everything from drone and the latest infrared and soil testing techniques and innovations and technology in growing and better producing products on their farms, all the way to the Dutch ministry, and visited the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Quality in The Hague, which is the capital of the Netherlands, and documented that on video. So if you'd like to see what transpired,
yes, go to the YouTube channel and view it.
Native Business in YouTube, because we don't have enough subscribers right now. Let's just
Please
keep
subscribe.
it real. Keep it real moment right here. Hashtag keep it real. We've started the YouTube channel, but we need more subscribers to get our own URL.
Yes.
So please go subscribe. We're on our way there, but we're not quite there yet. So now you have to still search Native Business, but it'll come right up when you do. And go to the food sovereignty video. Scroll down the page and you'll see it right there. And it's a short video. I think 6, 7, 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And you'll
very inspiring. I mean, the whole trip was absolutely. I mean, my mind was blown just thinking about the possibilities, and I'm just very excited for the MHA Nation and their food sovereignty initiative, and we're definitely going to be following that story as well.
Chairman Fox is on the cover of this of the June 2019 issue of Native Business.
Yes.
So again, if you'd like to read more about the initiative and more about what they're doing to bring innovation and technology in the way of agriculture through horticulture and its application through glass houses or greenhouses, go right now and subscribe to the digital publication. You can get that literally here within just a few minutes. But again, it's those kinds of things that we want to bring off of the pages, put into video, bring into the podcast, and let you listen directly to the folks that you're reading about or that you're seeing in these videos, so that you can hear directly from them to help better you and to lift you up. And so I think it's very important. And, there is an importance to having these business conversations.
Yes.
And I think that's, really behind everything that we've done, how you do that. So whether it's the podcast, or whether it's the print publication, the website,
and just really quickly, while we're talking about the print publication, in any other community, we probably would have just stuck to digital, right? But we know that there are remote communities and there's broadband issues. So we wanted to, and also just a lot of people, just like myself, I'm a little bit old school and I like to actually flip through the magazine. So
did you just say that you're old school?
I didn't say I'm old. I said I'm old school.
Oh, okay.
Old soul. Oh no! Here we go.
We just got our first sound effect. That was sort of a magical moment right there. And I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely think that people sometimes like to have a magazine that they hold in their hands, and I've got to say that our publication is done amazingly well. The layout, the design, the aesthetic, the quality of the writing is literally something that we've always felt needs to be on par with any other business publication in existence anywhere on earth. And I feel absolutely have hit that mark. And so, I was going to say a minute ago that, with the video and with the podcast and with the print and with the digital and with the website, what is another way that we've found that we could bring people together, that we can have these conversations? And that literally just transpired last month, May 13th, 14th, and 15th in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino with our presenting sponsor of the Native Business Summit, our first ever event as the Cherokee Nation businesses, the good folks there, supported and sponsored at the highest level the event, and all of our other amazing sponsors that were a part of who made it happen. And of course, every person, over 300 people came and attended, and was amazing for a first time ever event.
Yes.
And a sold out trade show. We had the Native Business Golf Classic, which was an amazing networking event. And then, of course, we had amazing networking receptions. I think we had, 24 different breakout sessions, amazing keynote speakers, everybody from Principal Chief Baker of the Cherokee Nation to now former, she was still the treasurer of the Cherokee Nation at that time, Lacey Horn.
And she was on our December issue on the cover of Native Business.
The finance issue of 2018.
Correct.
And to Governor Wasani from Cheyenne Arapaho Tribes, Vice President Myron Lizer.
Navajo Nation.
And just a group of folks that really came together to share great energy, inspired folks to really just motivate them and really stand behind entrepreneurship and business and economic development in Indian country. So what an amazing event that was.
Yes, it was amazing. We also recorded 6 podcasts live
that we will be working to roll out over the next.
I'm so excited. So those will
weeks.
have anywhere from 3 to 5 people on there as well that you'll be hearing from.
Shout out to Mika Leonard from the Miami Nation, who hosted those podcasts live. There'll also be videos. That will be put up on the YouTube channel. So if I didn't already say, please go subscribe over at the YouTube channel. Search Native Business on YouTube, and be sure next year to look out for the summit that'll be happening in late spring as an amazing event you need to get on your calendar and attend. I absolutely am confident that there'll be way more people even next year in our second year. And it was just a blessing. It was just, you can go to also the website, click on the summit to check in, to the information, watch the videos. We have wrap up videos that showed you, and you can see literally what happened. And it was just a beautiful event, very inspiring, very powerful first year event. And it was just great to see that many people there. We had Miss Oklahoma.
Miss Oklahoma USA.
I'm sorry, Miss Oklahoma USA.
Miss Triana Brown.
Because as we now know, there's also a Miss Oklahoma America.
But she was also the second runner-up for Miss USA. So we were so happy to have her. And
she's a proud member of the Chickasaw Nation there in Oklahoma. And we were just absolutely it was wonderful to have her there and to be involved.
Yes.
That's good. Do you got anything else to say? This is the first episode.
It is.
This is it's not very, I don't think it's funny.
I think you got to get on your effects. We got to do a clue bomb. That's what we're missing.
We're going to drop a bomb on that. There we go.
There we go. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So with that, again, the website, nativebusinessmag.com. These podcasts are going to be available to you on Apple Podcasts. So check, I guess, through iTunes or Apple Podcasts directly, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, these are going to be there. And of course, you can always check out the latest episode directly on the website, nativebusinessmag.com. And you can find all of the portals, outlets, platforms that this is available on as a podcast. And subscribe.
Yes.
Share it with your friends. Let your people know that this podcast does exist, and we appreciate you. Be sure to check out and sign up for the print publication of Native Business. Again, it is free. You can pick wherever you want to have it sent to. Let your friends, family know about that. Also, if you want the magazine, the issue right now, you can sign up for the digital publication and get that. And stay tuned to nativebusinessmag.com for all the latest information on a daily basis, even on the weekends. You'll get the latest news and information. And subscribe to the email newsletter, which comes out every Friday, to make sure that you're up on the latest. And of course, we would be remiss if we did not say, follow us on Facebook, Native Business Magazine, and then the same on Instagram.
Yes.
Like us on Instagram and also Twitter. I know
Native
that
Biz Mag.
Native Biz Mag, NATIVEBIZMAG. For those folks that need it spelt out. And we appreciate you.
Yes.
And with that, any closing remarks?
Just, we have appreciated everyone's support, everyone sharing Native business, everyone sharing, their thoughts. And we've just received some amazing compliments. So we thank you for the support. Thank you for sharing. And please, continue to
spread the
word because we are,
working very hard. We are working very hard, and we want people to know about it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's these stories are so powerful, and every time, even as we're going through the issue, I just get so inspired as well. I mean, just to see all of the good things that are happening across Indian country, and it just makes me proud. So I'm grateful for you guys to be on this journey, because it is a journey to continue to share these stories and ideas.
And it's something that I think we both knew from day one, that it's not just about what we think.
No,
the greatness of this and the heights of it will only come from other people helping to contribute, to share their knowledge.
And Indian country as a whole, as a collective.
That's where the biggest win will be. And we definitely recognize that. And obviously something that we want to make sure that we're continuing to share in all the ways that we can. And we're doing it. And, just to think that this only started.
Yeah. Not even a year ago.
And in that year, we have, I think, done some very amazing, actually, some of this has been unprecedented. It hasn't been done before. And we have a very small team.
We do.
And so I guess really this is us asking people to take a hard look at entrepreneurship and what you can do to sustain yourself by us literally being a living, breathing example of that. We are walking the talk. This is an entrepreneurial exercise. Native businesses. It is us literally doing what it is that we're encouraging other people to do. And as we all know, it's not easy when you start a business or when you're going out there trying to fulfill your dreams or do something that's obviously not been done before, even much more hard, difficult and complicated. But we believe that if you work hard, if you have a vision, and if what you're doing has value, the rest of those things will take care of themselves. And truly, indeed, over this last year, I think because we've focused on the quality of what we're doing, everything else is taking care of itself. And we're going to continue to work hard, but it doesn't mean anything if we don't have you.
Right.
I would just say one closing thing, because I remember early on, one of the things that really stood out to both of us is people saying, when we started producing content, because first it was only digital.
Yeah.
And not until November did we have our first print publication. So there was about 4 or 5 months that we did nothing but digital content. And people, as they would respond on LinkedIn and Facebook, the comments that when we would see people in person, when we would go out and tell them about the publication, and they would have seen the digital content, said, we didn't know there were that many Native American entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I think it truly is testament to the fact that we were showcasing and highlighting so many different amazing people across Indian country
and
doing
across
amazing
sectors,
things.
right?
Yeah, it's not just one thing that folks are doing, right? It's so many different sectors, so many different businesses that people are showing their competency, their capability, and their ability to really make a difference for themselves and in their community. And that's one of the things that I think sometimes people forget. It's not just that they're making money for themselves.
No.
Oftentimes they hire, if not a few, literally dozens of other Native people and provide jobs for them because they have been successful themselves. So we just want to continue to feed that, continue to grow it and lift it up and build it. And again, thank you so much. Speaking of LinkedIn, please follow us there as well. Search for the Native Business Magazine page on LinkedIn and follow us there. And we just want to say again, thank you. We're going to wrap this up. We're at 35 minutes and we appreciate everybody.
Thank you.
This is going to be probably a shorter episode than normal.
Yeah.
But definitely tune in to our next podcast and stay tuned to the website and social media to get the updates on what's coming as the next podcast.
And welcome to the Native Business Podcast.
Welcome.
Thank you.
This has been the first episode of the Native Business Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
Yes.